Hello, hello. Welcome to the March Stoney Sunday live stream. It's the second Sunday of March, which means that we are getting super stony.
We're ready for it.
We are live in quite a few places right now. So we are live on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Feel free to join the chat, ask us anything. Mio and I have years of experience in the cannabis industry, as well as just consumer experience trying out a bunch of different things too. So we love to try and be your guides and help out and kind of link you with any info that we might have found along the way.
It's nice to be able to share from a collective, personal experience.
Yeah, and then not only our own, but other people in the comments.
Yeah.
Is that what you meant?
More or less.
I've been looking forward to our stream this month. It's been rough here in Santa Cruz for the start of 2023. We are going through another big storm. We've been really lucky so far, and thankfully we haven't lost power, but our town's been hit pretty hard. So I've just been really wanting to get together, chat with y'all, smoke up, and kind of talk about what's been going on the last month or so in cannabis.
I'm going to pack these bongs up.
Oh my god, please. I see a congratulations to Mio on the new business move.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm really excited. I feel like, sometimes you just got to take that step, Leap, jump, whatever you want to call it. But
plunge. For those that don't know, Mio is a full-time independent artist now.
Yeah.
Where you are still part-time with a cannabis company, with Creme de Canna, longtime friends at this point, and longtime company you've worked with, but you've scaled it back to part-time with them, and full-time, my small business, as well as your own independent art.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's exciting. I'm excited to be able to not only do more of my own art, but see more of what you and I can do together. I feel like we've always worked pretty well together and just never really had that, all of that time to invest into seeing where that can really go.
Yeah, and as an independent business owner and a woman myself, I have always been really hesitant to officially partner with anyone in a professional sense. That's been my own space. That's really been something that I can take with me, and I don't need anyone to sustain it.
Mm-hmm.
It's important. But we're in it for life. And I've always wanted to collaborate more with you while still not really being able to give up that sense of ownership.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of like an impossible place to be in, because in order to get the best collaborations, you have to have a sense of ownership. It has to be your own interest. So I have been really excited for years to get you more involved with what I'm doing, and it is obvious, I feel like at this point, that to get that I have to give up ownership in a sense. It sounds weird. I don't know if any of y'all are out there.
Not in a weird way, but
not in a weird way, but just in the way that I've thought about it. It's not just my baby. It's our baby.
You have to be open to the more collaborative process that comes with not being the only one making decisions or planning things out or whatnot. So
definitely. And I your own art, I want to there's still gonna be so much space and time for that. Mm-hmm. You're not really full-time 8 hours a day every day. I don't have that type of need with my small businesses that I have. But just the flexibility that you'll be able to collaborate and participate with what I'm doing with such a wide open schedule. Yeah. Do you want to tuck Templeton in somewhere? Because I'm hearing
all the dogs have snuck in here.
Clicky-clacky of little dog feet. And they're adorable. I love them.
Come on, guys. Let's go.
This is not their sesh. Thank you for the congratulations. It is really exciting. And I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm excited. And we'll just be making art. Tucking the dogs in. I don't want to smoke without him for our first toke, so we'll wait just a second for our first toke for Stoney Sunday. Get into it. Oh, actually, speaking of the small biz, the tiny biz, Coral's Tiny World and Coral's Glass, there's a shop reopening next Sunday, a week from today. So if you are wondering what we're even talking about when it comes to like collaboration, what we've been working on together, you'll see more on the 19th, and you can already see a bunch on coralsglass.com.
Okay. The dogs have been secured.
Oh my gosh, okay. I didn't want to smoke without you, so I was waiting for our
Thanks.
first toke.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Happy Stoney Sunday.
That first toke of Stoney Sunday is in honor and in memory of Dr. Raphael Mechoulam. He has passed away at the age of 92 years old. And he is someone that we all have benefited from the work that he's done. Not only in our own understanding of cannabis, but in what's available on the market, and even our own ability to have the preferences that we've discussed. So much of that comes down to the studies and the research and the published results that Dr. Raphael Mechoulam gave to us. So I really want to take a minute and honor his memory. If we can, answer any questions about him if you have or haven't heard of him, and just pay as much respect as you can to someone that I think is pretty incomparable. After he passed, I did a lot of reflecting of like what his research meant to me. And I think personally, it's the fact that we had the chance to overlap lifetimes with him at all. When his research is something that's going to be cited with cannabis, I can only imagine indefinitely because of the things that he's isolated. So I just really, to me, the fact that we were in the same timeline, like in the same chapter of history, to even see that happening in real time rather than learn about it later, I just think is so amazing. I get goosebumps thinking about it. A brief history for those that don't know: Dr. Raphael Mechoulam has dedicated decades, I think the majority of his life, to cannabis research. He lived in Israel. He isolated THC in 1964. He also later isolated and synthesized, which is the whole thing, but isolated cannabinoids that are CBD. I think CBDA was his most recent one. From 1964, as recent as 2019, he was still publishing cannabinoid breakthroughs.
Yeah.
I mean, what is that? That's 60 years.
Yeah, more than half his life.
That's incredible. So I feel so blessed that we will all be benefiting from the things that he exposed in this plant forever.
Yeah, and the like people that he inspired to like continue cannabis research, is going to continue on probably for generations and generations. He really like kick-started something that, cannabis has been consumed for thousands of years all across the globe. But from what we know, there hasn't been the extensive research into it to really break it down,
I actually read that's what
finite
inspired
parts.
him.
Yeah.
That we had isolated cocaine, that we had isolated other substances, alcohol, I think. I'm not as passionate about the other ones, so I'm going to be honest. I don't have the dates and things memorized. But that's what inspired him to look at cannabis as an interesting project, is that it was one of the widest used and oldest used substances across human history, and yet it hadn't been given the medical, scientific treatment to go through it, study it, break it down. I'm amazed. I like literally get goosebumps talking about him. Longtime reefers may know and remember that I have been a fan of his since I first learned of his existence. And my first cat that I got as an adult, a young adult, was named after him. So the cat that many of y'all know as Doc, who unfortunately passed away from FIP. Rest in peace, both of them. His full name was Dr. Raphael Mechoulam, the cat. And that was after Dr. Raphael Mechoulam, the person. So it's definitely something that when the news broke, I knew I wanted to bring up with y'all. I knew I wanted to honor his memory, his contributions, and just have that kind of moment, I guess. It's so sad.
Very thankful for all of the work that he put in over the years.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Take extra bong hits.
Yeah, let's get yours packed up. We'll take another toke. We opened with a toke for him, and we'll send off our good wishes with the toke for him as well. And honestly, for all of the researchers now, I'm going to broaden it. And researchers is super broad too, because there's a lot of ways you can research the plant. Cannabis has been in a lot of closets and in a lot of dark corners, and the people that bring it to light, the people that bring it to established systems, like with what he did, classifying it in ways that we've classified other substances, they're powerful people, and we're all just so lucky that they did that. So there are so many throughout history that weren't safe to be named, weren't safe to be published, and weren't safe to pursue in a loud way. But their research is also what we honor and what got us here today in all the ways. Okay. Honestly, like, we've talked about him so much in the earlier videos, so it's definitely... The final thing I want to say also is that I read that he did come to California in 2019, and that was a year that I was retired from vlogging, and I wasn't participating in any cannabis events at all. And finding out that he did come to California and I missed a chance to meet him is, like, really something that I have to live with. So I got involved with advocacy just after Jack Herrera had passed. And I remember thinking, like, that sucks.
Yeah.
I'll never ever get to meet him. And now I'm like, fuck. So go meet your friends and idols. Go wave to them. Say hi. See them in person. From a distance.
I was gonna say, don't be weird about it.
Yeah, you know my feelings. I always say don't actually meet them, because a lot of times it's, like, really intimidating and they're not the people you think they are. Sorry. But just, I wish I had seen him with my own eyeballs.
Sure.
He didn't need to see me. But in his memory and to all other memories of cannabis researchers and others.
Cheers to cannabis research.
I am seeing some long-time reefers in the comments, and I just want to say hi. Thanks for being here. First-time reefers, brand new reefers, please say hi too. Always love to hear from everyone, but honestly, like, I have always felt a strong connection to the internet and to being able to connect with people despite being in a small town and being very isolated. So even as that isolation dropped away, I could learn to drive and left the state and came back and did all sorts of things. The internet has just been consistent, and well, I did retire. I took a little 2-year break. I came back into semi-retirement where I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, and now we're doing art and stuff. And I realized through that time that, like, professional or not, I'm not going anywhere. I just love the internet. I love the power that it brings to people that are powerless. I just think that is something that is a tool that is rare throughout history. Super rare.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So I'm gonna be here for a while, and I just really appreciate y'all being here too, because you have grown up with me too. Y'all have gotten degrees, you've moved, you've gotten jobs, you've had kids. Like, here we are. Like, I'm gonna take another toke, because here we are.
after your toke, I'm going to ask you a question while you take a toke.
Oh.
I forgot to ask you when we were
Oh.
talking about cannabis research, but do you have a favorite, or was there a moment or like a piece of cannabis information that you learned that just like really like sparked an interest to like, I need to know more about this? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
and if so, what was that moment?
So I have said the experience of not sweating as much made me curious about the plant.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't sweat as much when I smoked weed before school, and I felt really sweaty at school. So this was a huge win for me. But that's not really like a research moment in a bigger sense. What I thought of right away is I picked up the Pot Book by Dr. Julie Holland that I have mentioned often. And each chapter of the Pot Book has a different focus. And with cannabis, there's infinite angles. There's the human rights aspect, the civil rights, the legal. There's also the business, how much money is being made, the potential. There's the agricultural, what it does for the planet, what it needs to grow. And there was a chapter that was specifically on how cannabinoids and endocannabinoids work with your body.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was heavily citing, I'm going to have to guess at this point because I can't remember, but it would have definitely been Dr. Mechoulam's research that led up to some of the things I was reading in Dr. Julie Holland's book. She cites all her sources. And I read about the receptors in the brain, in that the plant produces cannabinoids and your body produces endocannabinoids. And endo just means inside. Beyond that, they're the identical substances, but your body is producing some and the plant is growing with some. And it's like, okay, that's cool, whatever. But when I learned that our bodies also have receptors for our endocannabinoids, sometimes it's described as like Velcro. You got one side and the other side, and you need both sides to get the effect that you want. I realized that a lot of maybe what I had experienced in life was because I had a different amount of receptors from people. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like I had that moment of like, all my friends had experienced cannabis in one way, and I didn't really feel that way. Like, it made me feel normal. It helped me catch up to a normal place rather than be overwhelmed or go beyond. And I realized, like, it's about the receptors. I might have not
you
enough.
were feeling a point of regulation with cannabis, and that's like what you were.
Yeah.
You were realizing that you needed to fill those holes.
I had no idea that there was a mental aspect to cannabis, because being raised in Santa Cruz, so much of the discussion around medical use was physical. Cancer patients and AIDS patients and skin conditions. And I up until that point, reading that chapter about brain health, I really hadn't ever learned that it could help. So that moment for me was really, of all the other parts, I felt like I was reading because I wanted a good idea of a general scope of cannabis. I wanted to learn more. But that chapter, I was like, this is my personal chapter. This is the one I could read forever.
Yeah. It's
so interesting to me. So I think that's the answer.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah, what about for you? I don't even know how to word the question because you asked it.
I think the moment for me that really like sparked a deeper level of like cannabis as a whole was learning about terpenes and how they interact with cannabinoids to really give all of the like secondary effects.
And terpenes are not only in the cannabis plant. Like cannabinoids are specific to the cannabis plant. It's weird and special. But terpenes are in so many different things.
Yeah. Terpenes are what give pretty much everything their smell. They affect flavor. And there's also flavonoids that are similar, but terpenes in particular is what I had read about it. Was in one of Ed Rosenthal's books.
Legendary.
I can't remember which one, but
wait, I gotta say, friend of the channel. Shout out to Ed and his wife Jane. They have both been on the show. They are fantastic.
So nice,
We love them. Okay.
And that really like piqued my interest because I knew a little bit about, you know, THC and CBD, but I was always curious why, you know, all this weed smells different, but also like if you spend a lot of time with cannabis, like there's a lot of people that can smell weed and be like, oh, this is this cultivar, or this is this cultivar, just by the smell, because those terpenes that are in that plant become recognizable, you know? Or I noticed that I would smoke some strains and they made me feel like exactly how I want to feel, and some are like maybe they make me too tired or whatever, and like learning that the terpenes played a role in that
because they could be in the same THC level.
Because they could have been the same THC level.
Yep.
Exactly. And so learning that I could, I guess, find out more about the particular things I was consuming, that really like piqued my interest. Like, you know, how can I like dial in more of like what I'm actually looking to get out of cannabis for myself, you know?
Yeah. It opens up like a whole new book of specifics, where I think before that it's just like good weed, bad weed, like you know.
It was like all kind of just like general, you know.
You can really hone in.
And like people talk about like sativa hybrid indica, but like even within that there's a lot of nuance, and so learning about those nuances was really interesting to me.
And that system is on the way out in a lot of leading cannabis distribution companies and marketers. The indica, sativa, and hybrid description model is something that a lot of consumers are familiar with, and so I think it's going to be kind of like a hard transition. But it's not accurate for the plant. It's not like scientifically accurate to what's actually happening. So I think it's a responsibility to catch up consumers, because they're relying on the experts and the people that are experienced to provide accurate info.
When I worked as a bud tender for a while, and I managed a dispensary for a while, and I remember all the time people would come in and they would say, you know, I'm looking for something to sleep, but like indicas just keep me awake. You know? Or the other way around. Sativas put me to sleep. You know, everybody tells me to get a sativa if I want to stay awake, but they just put me to sleep. And learning that maybe the terpenes were what were actually playing a role in these people's experiences, and then being able to guide them in that direction. I found so many patients and consumers having a better experience with the cannabis that they were consuming, and it just like, for me, it like clicked, like that's the way like I want to look at cannabis for myself and try to like, you know, help these other people that are coming in with it. But I'm hopeful that the industry, as we can educate consumers, will catch up and we can move away from that sativa hybrid indica model.
So people can really find exactly what they need and get into the terpenes.
I have seen a handful of brands starting to list some of the like top terpenes like on their packaging.
Creme de Can has done that for a while. Or at least been explaining the info, providing that, so then you can identify them.
On the packaging we try to provide as much of that as we can fit. But it's a nice way to go.
I see two questions I really wanted to answer. Someone in the comments was like, you know, in terms of cannabis helping the brain and cannabis being great for you, they said, but lung health, now that's a different story. And quite a few people in the comments were like, wait, what? Like, what are we talking about? So I did want to kind of like address that. Specifically, a lot of the research around smoking and lung health has to do with tobacco smoking. And to not acknowledge that or consider how impactful that is in the results of the study, I think is a mistake. A a lot of the people pushing the lung health concerns around cannabis are profiting from the solution. Not a lot, but the loudest people that are sometimes pushing that you need to filter your smoke are the ones selling a filter. So that is something that I'm always hesitant of. I do see some people get into what I'm getting at, which is also something I read in the pot book, and really that, I think, for me, helped me understand my own physical experience with cannabis a lot more. What we, I think, are both referencing, me and this person in the comments, is that one study, a few studies, I don't know, study has shown that consuming cannabis smoke does encourage sloughing off of the unhealthy cells within your lungs. And if we look at this under 3 categories, there was regular people, some of the cells get sloughed off, some don't. Your body's always regenerating. People that did consume tobacco did not slough off as many cells and damaged those cells, which means that the damaged cells are the ones that could turn into cancer, and they weren't being sloughed off. And then the people that consumed cannabis, they were sloughing the highest rate. They were primo sloughing. Like, I love this shit. So I cough a lot. I am sloughing. Like, I don't know what else to say in regards to that. I'm probably not the best to explain it because I get so hyped about it. But back to the health part. If you do have health concerns, number 1, go to a doctor. I always have to reiterate, former waitress, full-time artist, not medical professionals. I'm going to cough a bunch and make it look really annoying now. But, there are also a lot of things that can be, I think, exasperated by a state of feeling better in your body. All of a sudden, you're going to be noticing other things. So this is where I think, like, some of the other issues come in. People say, is because of weed? I'm like, or is it because you sat down and you, like, thought for 2 seconds? Anyway, take your health seriously. Definitely get it looked at if you are experiencing any issues or concerns in that way. But in terms of the marketing and the fear around lung health and cannabis, I have yet to see studies that really conclusively link a reason to be concerned that aren't either literally funded by tobacco or tainted with actual tobacco consumption. And we have thousands of years of cannabis use. So individual anecdotal evidence is helpful, but there's also going to be people that consume cannabis and get cancer. That's unfortunately the gamble of the human experience that we're in right now. But I think the people that are heightening, you need to filter this, you need to filter that for health reasons, anything other than taste and preference, are probably profiting off the solution, and I'm not into that. I feel like I rambled a lot about that. That was only question number 1. The second question was that some of y'all have seen some coral reefer cannabis products, and you're wondering if that is me. It's not, is the short answer. But we are on good terms, is the expanded answer. Yeah. It's Jimmy Buffett and his coral reefer band. They are older than I am, so touche. But my real name is Coral, and having a screen name of Coral Reefer 420 was not a long-term ploy to take over their market share in the music business. So it's just an overlap, I would say. They did reach out when they first launched. We have met face-to-face. I don't think we met Jimmy Buffett, though.
I don't think so.
No, I think we would remember that. I saw him throw his shoes off the stage. I guess that's a thing that he does. We're parrot heads, basically, at this point. Like,
we had a good time at the show. It was fun.
It was a great time. But we are not affiliated with the products. We are not financially benefiting when you buy them. And it is something that we have yet to try the flower or anything. We tried the vapes, and they were pretty good. I was like, okay, it's got my name on it. Perk of being having the same name as a brand that has a lot more money than I do to pay for stuff is that I got some really cool merch with my name on it. I got a cool lighter. I got this cool wooden box thing. I got a towel. I got some shirts. We got shirts.
Some cool coasters.
We got coasters. So I do sometimes maybe confuse people because I wear the stuff and I use it in my house, but it's because it's nice houseware stuff too. Yeah. This is not any less confusing. I'm so sorry, but no, it's not me. It's not us. And I, at this point, would not intend to release a product because a cannabis consumable product, because I'm such a control freak. It doesn't, to have a consistent product that you're all in different places, different regulations, like it would be impossible. So it's just, I'm gonna let those that do it, and I'm gonna make weird little mini bongs for Barbies. Like, that's the key to success. So that's what I'll be doing. Thank you for asking. But yeah, if you didn't know, it is my real name. It's not a gimmick or a hoax or something that I have to change if a brand is like, you can't use that anymore. Like, take it up with the fucking parents. Like, pull out the birth certificate. That's not my issue. I, at one point in my life, would have loved to not have had a weird name. So, not my responsibility. I was always so sad in the beginning of my blog career that everyone thought my name was fake, because I just felt like y'all thought I was starting our relationship on a lie. That was the first thing you learned about me. And I was like, why would you ask me your most intimate things if you think I'm even lying about my name? I was so confused about it, but it's never been a lie. It's the real deal. Thanks for thinking of me when you see stuff about the coral reefs. Long live the coral reefs. I hope you see good stuff about them. Oh my gosh, I see someone mentioning headband. That was the first strain I had by name from a dealer that I loved, you know? Uh-huh. Like, there were some, like, oh, this is Blue Dream, probably. And this is, like, whatever else, Sour Diesel and some other classics. But I remember headband was like, I'm going to need all of that. Thank you. So, whenever I see that name pop up, I just think it was so sweet.
When we were in high school, Orange Crush was all over town.
One time someone gave me a pound of Orange Crush.
First strain name I remember.
I don't want to put them on blast. It was not a romantic situation. I'll get that out of the way. But they were like, hey, I have an extra pound of Orange Crush. Do you want it? And I was like, yes. Obviously. So I feel like it's a strain that I'm like so tired. I had so much of it.
It's gone now. It's okay. We survived.
So much of it. What a time. What a time.
It was good, though.
To all the strains.
That was the first time I ever heard the word dank used to describe weed, was related to that strain.
I got out of a parking ticket because of the word dank. Other type of ticket. The cop literally leaned into my car and was like, it smells kind of dank in here. Do you, like, have anything you want to tell me or something? And first thought, a cop saying dank is fucking hilarious. Like, lost my mind for like 2 seconds, like, what? But then I remembered I had moldy beans in a to-go container because I was a girl on the go, and it was in the bottom of the passenger side, and I was like, if I can lean over and show you what I think smells dank, and he was like, go for it. And so I like opened the bean container and was like, I have some rotten beans here. I don't know if that's what you mean by dank, maybe like wet or something. And he was like, no, that's not what I meant. And he didn't get his fucking confession. So that's definitely a word you remember hearing when you hear it.
So funny.
Okay, cheers.
Cheers.
For a long time, I was like, you should always keep rotten food in your car. As a little just off. A little throw them off.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, honestly. We got some great questions. Thank you. 10 years of a fucking... No, we're on like 12 years. I am stuck in 10-year zone. I'm gonna just like peace out
You're
at 10.
gonna wait till we're at 20 and then it'll be like 20 years.
20. That would be crazy. That'd be crazy. Oh my god, someone had a similar experience. They were like, the food trash in the back, is that what you're smelling? Why do cops think weed and trash smell the same? I mean, pro tip, it sounds like it works on different cops. So
Yeah. Because it's like a dead end. Like, where do you go from there?
You're gonna go through the trash. Did they set up rotten beans? You think this girl set up rotten beans just to hide from you, officer? It's crazy. I did later. Anyway, beans in the car because there's so many good Mexican spots around here. It was a burrito for sure. For sure. California classic. Am I still blowing glass? Yes, more than ever. And that is also why Mio has joined the small business, the family business, because I don't want to melt glass full time, but I really want to make stoner doll accessories. So I meant to put on a pair of earrings. Will you like grab 2 random ones so I can mix and match? But not pink because I don't have pink on, please. But I couldn't keep up with the demand for the stoner doll accessories, which is amazing. Thank you. Thank you to everyone that's been ordering. Shop reopens March 19th. So I asked Mio, like, do you want to learn how to 3D print and make them and do that? And he was like, yeah. And then like a week later, he was doing it. So these are earring versions. Oh, with the assist. Thank you.
It's working.
No. Oh, yeah, there we go. They're in focus now. This is, oh, there they are. Oh my God, I love them so much. I'm going to show over here. This is the earring version. But I mean, like, honestly, you've only been doing this for like 2 or 3 weeks.
No, it's been the earrings?
Well, like full time.
Oh, yeah, full time.
Yeah. So like, since like for the shop possibilities,
Yeah.
like this is only the beginning.
Right.
We're just getting started.
Started.
So the earrings are super sick, although I wear them around town every time I leave the house, and no one in Santa Cruz has been like, sick earrings, and I know that they're sick, so I don't know what's wrong with our town. Like, I just feel like every time I'm like, I'm ready, and no one says anything, and I'm getting frustrated about it. How, should we make them bigger? I want a comment when I'm out and about. If I am out in public, say hi. I don't know. But I like the mix and match. We sell them
Maybe
in
they
sets.
get hidden in your hair. All your curls. Your waves. They get hidden.
We sell them in matching sets, and then you can mix and match when you have the matching, like, from your pairs.
Yeah.
We haven't sold the mix and match yet. Maybe someday. Maybe they do get lost in my hair. I do natural hair now. It's a lot thicker now. They're gone. You can't even see them.
So,
What
like,
color do we have to make them?
maybe
Blue, like
maybe your
dark
hair has to
blue?
be like in braids or something, and then people could actually.
Hey,
see
how's it going? Wanted to get a sandwich, please. Anyway, so yes, I am still blowing glass, but I can't keep up with the demand for the earrings, for the stoner doll bongs, for everything. So I want the glass to be like a premium. I want the glass to be something that is not considered production or rapid fire. It's something that I do when I want to, and I get to have like a luxury experience with it and play with colors and release fun things. But I really want to satisfy people's needs right now for consistent production stoner doll bongs. So yes, I melt in glass, but yes, we're also making not glass versions of what I make in glass. Like, shit's going crazy. We're expanding.
Yeah, I gotta start making some little rigs. I gotta
Yes.
design a couple.
I think I have like one glass rig I want you to base it off of that I made.
Okay.
But make it better, because that one's like a not great one. And he just made a file for torches, for tiny
excited for the
torches.
torches.
So cute, so detailed. I was talking to someone on Twitter about how, like, you have a lot of design experience and art experience, but you've really been teaching yourself how to do 3D designs in just like weeks, and now you can do it. It's amazing. That's amazing. So I feel like I got really lucky that this is working out.
It's going pretty
And the
good so
torch
far.
has so many different components. It's just like really, okay, thank you. It's really cool. So the final print of those will be in the shop eventually. I hope by the 19th we could get a couple in there, but that's only a week away, so.
We're just waiting for some resin to arrive.
Yeah. Yeah, I really appreciate people's support with the glass art being a slower production. And there are a lot of people that work differently than me and want to be working 8 hours a day, making as much as they can. Like, I have worked in shops with those people, and we're just on different vibes. I couldn't do that for my own mental health. It just wouldn't be the place that I could survive the longest. So for me, being able to go in a few times a month is really, like, so fun. It keeps it so fun. The best days for me are when I'm actively melting and I'm already thinking about the next piece I want to make, because then I keep working longer and longer. If I focus too much on what I'm making, I kind of get, like, shaky and freak out. I got to stay excited about what's next. So by doing it in short bursts, it just was really the best fit for me.
It's like less expectations of like what you have to accomplish when you're like in the moment.
I just got through the busiest order season that I've ever had in my glass life, ever, in almost 10 years. And I am so thankful, and it was, like, incredible to know that there is that much interest and support in my glass. But it was also absolute confirmation that I cannot do this full time, that making the same colors over and over again, like, I love these colors, but I want to play with them all. I'm wearing rainbow, like, come on. So it definitely is something that moving forward for the shop reopening, you're not just getting one listing with 20 options. You're getting 4 different colors with only a few available each. That way I can play with a bunch of different colors instead of one over and over and over. And I love that color. But it was a lot. It was a lot. It was such a busy season. Thank you for all of those orders. I have been, like, definitely spying on social media of where they're arriving to. I want to see the pictures, and I hope you all love them. Whew.
Gotta repack this again.
We have not really a matching set, but we are still hitting our roars today.
Yeah.
I just love the way they rip.
They're really nice.
His came from Germany, and it's a German-made roar, and mine came from Roar Tech, which is sold across America, the United States, and Mexico, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But Canada can get German Tech. But they're both rippers. Okay. More marijuana in my lungs is the next step. And normally, right now, I would be telling y'all that I'm going to get topless later for topless tokes. But, plot twist, I've moved it. I've moved it to Fridays. Actually, on the topic of melting glass, it's all coming together. I'm now doing Fiery Fridays, still topless, but I've added an element of danger. And now I melt glass topless. It's so dangerous. I kind of, like, disassociated while I was doing it on Sunday and was like, what if I really hurt myself? Like, what am I doing? But then I was like, I'm having fun. I honestly have more fun doing this than just staring at myself in the camera for the other topless toke streams. So I'm going to do this. They're both fun, don't get me wrong. But we're setting it up. It's really cute. It's on Fridays now. I stay as safe as possible while still doing the goods. And if you did suggest it and I shut it down, it was definitely for safety reasons and also, like, distraction reasons. I don't really always want to be filmed while I'm melting glass. But I just went through rapid fire, and I feel a lot more confident with my glass than I did a couple of months ago. And it's just something that I feel like I can play a lot more in there. Not in a dangerous, not in a reckless way, but just in a, I feel a little more confident in there. Sorry if I shut you down, though. We're just reading the comments, zoning out. I love to see what everyone's saying, where they're joining from. Okay, I forgot to pack my bowl. I got lost in the sauce.
Lost in the comments.
Yeah.
It's been nice. There's been a lot of questions today.
Yeah, I really appreciate y'all joining. The streams are now only once a month, so if you didn't know that already, here's the announcement. We are live on the second Sundays, so that will be April 9th next month. And we can talk about 420 plans. Can we announce what you're doing before that in April?
I think so.
We're pretty sure. Mia will have a booth the first Friday of April, which is what, like the second? The first?
7th?
7th?
I think it's the 7th.
Okay. There
Pretty
will
certain it's the
probably be a booth for you to come check out Mio's original art as well as merchandise. We will definitely have earrings available, some of the 3D printed goods, but also like your paintings and your merch. And it will be in Santa Cruz. So if you are local to us, you'll be able to come through that first Friday in April. And if you're not local to us, then the second Sunday is the same weekend. Wow. Wow.
A couple days after my booth will be Stoney Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll be able to join for another sesh then and talk official 420 plans. I do see the question of, do I do any public speaking or seminars for MJ businesses? No, I don't. I don't have a lot to offer that would be valuable in that setting that we couldn't do right here, right now. This is where I'm really at my best, I feel like, when it comes to guidance. This is a home space that I've created for the last, 10, 12 years. I can't remember. Don't talk about it. And it's where I can really find a lot of answers that when I change the setting, I get really nervous and I don't like to be the center of attention. This is I'm just alone in my house with my husband with a webcam. I don't feel the center of attention. We're chilling. It's such a different vibe. I so appreciate you asking. I so appreciate you having the consideration to think that I would be good at something like that. I have experimented, tiptoed, and I think other people said it went well, but it was a pretty terrifying, and I would say it didn't push me in a direction that I felt was like, this is the right direction for me. So I really appreciate it. And there are some videos on my YouTube channel of me speaking at Mardi Gras in Australia. There's, I think, a video of me speaking at an Americans for Safe Access meeting. I'm not 100% sure, but that was a local meeting that I did speak at. And some panels through High Times. Unfortunately, I have mentioned this. I'm going to be super candid. When I was doing some of the first ever social media panels that ever existed in the cannabis space, the people I surrounded myself with were really selfish people, and they were really deeply incapable of celebrating anything that I was accomplishing. So I don't have footage and pictures of that because I needed to be present and on stage. And the people that I asked at that time, who you may know as former co-hosts or have seen in content, they couldn't be bothered to show up for those opportunities for me because they had snuck in bottles of alcohol and were too drunk. Multiple times. This isn't even just a one time I'm being hella specific about. This is a multiple times. So it is something that I did love panels. When those were live events, I felt like I could contribute in a panel experience. But I don't have a lot of footage of those early events because it wasn't something I could do by myself, and I didn't have people around me that wanted to help or cared or thought it would be worth helping on their own. So it was just one of those things that I have the memories of, but it definitely is like, I know I did it. Some of y'all were there. Oh my gosh. And I honestly, when it comes to a gendered event, which I see like some women's seminars or a women's history thing being mentioned, I would have a really hard time with it. Unless I would have to have this conversation first, and if we could candidly talk about the fact that some of my biggest bullies have been women, that some of my biggest barriers in growth in my career have been women, and that there absolutely cannot be a presumption of safety in a female-only space because that's not a true experience. I haven't felt like a lot of women group want to address that. And the last time I did try to give it a go, and we went to an event that was a women's event, and they said you could bring a hubby, and we sat in the audience. They ended up just talking about what it's like to be a parent in cannabis, which many women are not parents, and many parents are not women. Like, it was so disappointing that that's what they did with the time. And then they had a man on the panel.
Yeah. I thought you were going to talk about the event we went to down south.
Oh, no, another time.
We showed up to, it was supposed to be like a party to celebrate women in
cannabis. They put me on a list. They said I was on like a top 100 of women in cannabis. And I was like, I'll go to the party.
we drove down to Southern California for it, got a hotel, walked over to the event where it was supposed to be, got there, and they were like, oh, it's full inside, and it was like full of a bunch of dudes.
We could like see just nothing but suits, and it was celebrating 100 women in cannabis, and I was one of those 100 women, and they didn't leave capacity for me.
I feel like I probably couldn't see more than like 5 women from where we stood on the sidewalk looking at like
Oh my god, this one like
house
makes me
or
shake. It
whatever
was
it
so
was.
embarrassing. You will never catch me saying, do you know who I am? You will never. Like, that's the one clip, and I say it going like this because it's just not, it's not in my, I hate it. Oh, our cat's on the back. Bro.
Oh, he's bad.
But for that event, that's where it came up, and I was like, I'm not gonna say it. I gave them my name. They said we're at capacity. I said, okay, then we'll leave. Like, I have a lot of social needs when it comes to my comfortable, when it comes to what it takes to make me comfortable, and standing outside in a public cannabis setting where people are going to come up and talk to me and take pictures with me at that time in my life, I couldn't do it. I needed to be able to be either inside where I could be behind a booth or with friends or able to walk freely, or I needed to be away. I could not stand in line at that point in my career. It was hectic. So when they said they're at capacity, we just were like, okay, then we'll leave. And we turned and left, and people ran out of the building and were like, no, you have to come in. You're on the list. And I was like, bro, that's your issue. We went through the system, and your system said get the fuck out because there's too many men in the room. You can't fit. So, yeah, I see someone say Cancer Queen. Get my little pinchers out. I'm all water for my big 3. Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. We don't ask twice, and we definitely don't make a big thing about an ego. Like, if you don't want to recognize our greatness, that's kind of making you look dumb. I'm not gonna sit here and prove it to you. I'll leave. What the fuck do I care? So we did have a great night. It was still fun. It was a beautiful night in the area. I love road trips with my husband. We had just such a good time. But that was another women in cannabis event that I was like, they're honoring me. Let's go. And I would say that was humiliating. Like, it was pretty embarrassing, and
We can laugh about it now. I mean, we laughed about it.
I laughed. Yeah, we were laughing. It was so awkward. I don't think I could have gone in. And why would I have wanted to, like, lend my image and support and take pictures at and post an event that treats their own women that way? Like, the top 100 women of their industry weren't even, like, made space for when it was horrible. So I thank you for the invitation. I really appreciate the candidness that we can have in this type of setting. I love that y'all are people that have gotten to know me in big and small ways for so long. And one thing I have learned to love about myself is that I am a very polarizing person. I repel a lot of people away from me, and that is for my own safety generally. Those people are people that I probably wouldn't want around me, and they know that. They can tell because I'm pretty upfront about the type of person I am and what I'm comfortable with. In a big new introduction, a big new setting, it can be a really jarring experience, though. People have a really polarizing reaction to me, and I don't want to be in the room for that. That's how it is. Yeah, it's hard to explain, but essentially coming of age and like growing up online, I have heard every insult and critique about myself. I don't need to anymore. Don't need to. So it's one of those things that I intentionally don't put myself out there in a lot of ways because I don't need to and I don't want to, and I have a lot more security in who I am. I'm not really looking to prove it to anyone. So those settings just really freak me out. Sometimes people get freaked out and it's just a whole thing. Oh my god, number 1 woman in weed. Okay, I'm gonna say 2. I don't like when women tie because it's like it shouldn't take 2 to be a one, like we gotta honor 1. They're both number 1. They're both number 1. Okay. Valerie Corral, look her up, icon. Someone so iconic, I run from the opportunity to meet her. I do not want to meet her. I love her. I cannot. I've seen her with my own eyeballs. Check that off. But her people sometimes like fall. I love her. She's amazing. What she's done is incredible, iconic. Can't even get into it. And then I have to say Mila, the Hash Queen. trailblazer.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Two different sides of, I think, really important progress. But I'd have to put them up there. Yeah. Yeah. Number one.
Excellent
Both
choices.
of them. Do you have any other to add? Maybe under the age of 50? I love them both, but I'm trying to think if there's anyone right now that I am like, I mean, they're both still doing it. Yeah. Maybe they're still doing it.
They're great choices.
Yeah. Valerie, I had a lot of stories to tell, but we were in a room with Valerie. I was very far away at the back of the room. And she couldn't even finish what she had to say because she was like so distracted that there were so many empty chairs and so many people standing in the back looking really crowded. Because we're all terrified of you because you're so amazing and powerful, Valerie. We don't want to get too close. But she literally was like, you look uncomfortable. You're all standing back there. Like, please come have a seat, get comfortable, sit down. And it was just like so few people that have had the opportunity to grow their ego in a way that they cannot even imagine what someone else is feeling when they're talking to them, do that. And she didn't. She, even at that point, even at this like meeting that was happening where she was on stage and the lights were on her, how did she even see? She still felt such a moment of empathy that she was distracted by it. She couldn't go on until she knew people were comfortable. And that type of urgency is, I can only imagine what led her to do the things that she had to do. Yeah. It was amazing to see. Even that little moment in person, I was like, this is her. I knew it. So that's as close as I need to get. She was amazing and iconic. And we're lucky Santa Cruz has such a living legend.
Yeah, definitely.
And then Mila the Hash Queen revolutionized like hash bags in the process, the ice bags for washing cannabis. I'm not the one to tell you about this, but she did it in a world that was extremely male dominated in cannabis at that time. She did it with her own name, making it herself. Like she's an independent lady, and I don't know how to explain it other than like the product that she created and popularized allowed a whole new income stream for a lot of people, a whole new consumption method for a lot of people, an accessibility to that form that wasn't available before. Legendary. We're gonna hit this.
We got rapid fire questions.
Let's do it. Rapid fire.
3 questions.
As fast as you can. Just shoot them out. Just go. Ask anything you want, and we'll try to answer as fast as we can, too, which is really the hardest part for me, personally.
It happens that way sometimes.
Let's see if there are any questions we missed. They can be cannabis related. They can also be life related. I mean, the worst we're going to do is, like, scroll. I mean, the worst is, like, you get blocked if you get real crazy. But most things with a question mark won't lead to that. And we'll rapid fire once we see we have 3 ready to go. Oh, they're coming in. Get them in. Get them in. I think you want to do half a toke and then another.
To finish it off?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Oh! Okay. We're reading questions. Send them in. There's a lot of good ones. There's a lot of really good ones. Send them in. Okay. Do you see 3 you want to go for?
I think so. Let's see, scroll around. Yeah.
Okay, you pick first.
Update on the turtle.
We have a turtle now.
We have a turtle now. His name is Valentino. We've had him for like exactly a month today, I'm pretty sure.
Happy month anniversary, Valentino.
Really tiny. He's like itty bitty, like a little tiny coin.
He's a musk turtle, which means he's not even going to get much bigger.
No,
he's gonna get
to like 4 inches. But right now he is like
a baby turtle.
An inch and a half, maybe. He's really, really, really small.
He's fast.
He's very fast. He swims all over the place. He's doing well. He's got some guppy friends that swim around with him in his tank.
They don't hurt fish, unlike other turtles, which would love some guppies in the tank. He doesn't even care. He eats his little shrimpy pellets.
Yeah.
And his wormies.
Yeah. Sometimes like the guppies like swim by and he's like and he like has to like avoid them, but he doesn't ever really like snap at them or anything. So far so good.
Yeah, he's doing really good. I think it's going pretty well, to be honest. Yeah. I forget what the question was that I was going to answer. Any travel? No. Okay, I do want to answer this one, but then I do want to answer that one. I remember them both. Any travel plans? No, not really. I canceled the Las Vegas mini show booth because I really needed to focus on all of those orders that I mentioned. Got them out, so excited. But I wasn't able to go to Vegas for the booth, so I don't think. Is there anything I'm forgetting?
No, not that I can think of. We don't really have anything, at least not upcoming anytime real soon.
We are. Oh, you sound so sad. We are opening more applications and looking around for different events that either he could have a booth at, or I could have a booth at, or we both would have a booth at for our arts. So you may see us up and down California, as far as Nevada, and around. I feel like a 300-mile radius from where we are is what we could do pretty reasonably. So you may see some travel announcements as we get later into the year. Definitely keep up on our socials. I'm Coral Campster Brown on Instagram now, and since I got married, but my main one got shut down so long ago. It's so sad. So you can find me on my new one, Coral Campster Brown, or the same Facebook page that I've had forever, Coral Reefer, and my Twitter, Coral Reefer 420. That's where I post any like updates or anything.
Yeah. Eventually we'll travel again someday.
Okay, rapid fire. Final question, and then the final toke. How do we think the industry could benefit? Blah, 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 blah. How do we think the industry could change to benefit everyone? Minorities, LGBTQIA, women identifying person, not just women. But how do we identify people that haven't been centered and prioritized, i.e. cis hetero white men, I think is where we're going with this. And what changes could we make that would benefit everyone? Do you have an answer? Because I'm ready.
I
want you to give an answer because
I will. Go for it.
No, you go first.
I think a big change is making spaces more comfortable for those people, whether that's like really holding like staff or employees or owners accountable for treatment. I feel like it's so people in those groups, it's never like the first time that something happens to them and they make someone aware, if it happens in private or if it's seen by another like staff member or whatever. Like never does it happen in that moment. I feel like that like, oh, that happened, all right, that person's gotta go, you know, like we have like zero tolerance for that. Mm-hmm. And so I think more real-time accountability, and you know, getting people in, like if we have to have like positions of power in these places, like having those people really like they have to be so like willing to hold those people accountable and, you know, remove them from the workplace or, you know, whatever the change needs to be, so that the people in those minority groups feeling the most comfortable in the situation. Like, let's prioritize how they're feeling rather than, the person that did whatever to them.
I'd say that's kind of with the sentiment of believe women, believe black people, believe trans people. If you are not the person telling that story, then you don't know what it was like to experience what happened. And so believing people when they tell you what happened, believing people in their experience, I think is crucial.
Yeah.
My answer is sadder. Yours is tangible, and please do these things right away. But my first response for rapid fire was that unfortunately the cannabis industry does not exist in a bubble. And the best way to make this space safe for everyone is to make the world safe for everyone, to make the accountability in every industry be the norm, that the United States is targeting trans people right now. Well, we will hope that the cannabis industry is friendly and is on our side and is there. The world needs to be in every industry. So to me, that's the like, I feel like that's how it's always been when I view cannabis too, is like I didn't get involved in a lot of local policy change. I just wanted a bigger understanding. I wanted more people out there to have a bigger understanding, so then anytime it comes up in a vote, anytime there's a conversation, more people are comfortable in whatever they need to vote. So I feel like that's why my answer is sadder, because it's hard. It's not tangible. It's not an instant action, but it's definitely something that I think is the best way. Is how we're going to get there. We have to do it with everything. You have to create a world where people are safer. And without doing that in bars, in home spaces, in politics, in schools, in sports, without doing it in all of those other spaces, cannabis is following the trends. Mm-hmm. So we hopefully will create the trends. We have the opportunity to do that, to do better. It's a leading industry. It needs to lead the way in this too, as it has. We've talked about this. We can talk about it again next time for sure. It has been an LGBTQIA-led space in its origin of medical beginnings in America, but it needs to be a lot louder and prouder now. So that wasn't quite rapid fire, but I really appreciate y'all joining for this month's Stoney Sunday. I really love the type of conversations that we can have with y'all. I have definitely grown a lot with my understanding of the world since I first started, before you were here. But it's just something that I like being able to grow our understanding of the world together. I don't think any single one of us has the entire answer, nor do I think it's that easy. But I think the more that we can talk about problems that we experience together, the more then we can find solutions. So really love y'all being here. I love the conversations, and that's all because of cannabis. So thanks for joining. Thanks for staying high on this Stoney Sunday. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your neighbors. It's rough out there every which way. So stay Stoney. Love you.
Happy Stoney Sunday.
Happy Stoney Sunday.